Okay, so the last video was talking about simplifying expressions. In this video, we're talking about solving equations. Now there's two things I want you to remember. If two things are on the same side of the equal sign, then we do what it says. Now, if they're on opposite sides of the equal sign, then we have to do the opposite operation to move it across the equal sign. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna get a black. So if we have an equation that's like 2v minus 6 equals 10, we know that this is a two-step equation, right? We have you and your best friend, and then we have the stranger. Well, we got to get rid of the stranger first. So how do we get rid of a minus 6? We do the opposite, and we would add 6. So we would add 6 over here. So then you have 2v is equal to 10 plus 6, which is 16, and then we divide it by 2. Now, the reason why we're dividing is because we are getting rid of that operation. We have to undo multiplication because when two things are next to each other, they are multiplying. So to undo multiplication, we divide. Divide by 2, divide by 2. We have 1v, which is right here, is equal to 8. Which makes sense because if you were to plug it in, 2 times 8 is 16, minus 6 is equal to 10. So you're welcome to check that too, but that's our two-step equations. You're gonna have a couple like this. You're even gonna have a couple that are a little bit more difficult, and they have a couple more steps to them. They will have some things on the same side. Let me show you an example of that. So if I have an equation that has variables, two variables, just like when I was simplifying, I can combine those. Because they're on the same side of the equal sign, I just do what it tells me to do. Negative 9 plus 5. Well, negative 9 plus 5 is a negative 4. I can't lose my variable, so I keep my x with it. I've combined these two. So the part that I haven't used now is this negative 8. So I'll minus 8, and then I haven't used this side either, so I bring down my 28. So I have 28 equals negative 4x minus 8. This looks exactly like the first one we did. Now it's a two-step equation. We have to get rid of, we always want to work furthest away from our variable and then isolate our variable that way. So this one's furthest away from my variable. I need to do the opposite. Opposite of subtract is add 8 to this side. Add 8 to this side. It keeps it balanced. I can't just do one thing to one side. I have to make sure that I'm keeping it balanced. That's what keeps it equal. Now, 28 plus 8 gives me 36. It's equal to a negative 4x. Now, this is where some of you guys will make a mistake. You'll just divide by 4 and you'll get the sign wrong. Watch those signs. I'm not changing my negative to a positive. I am changing multiply to divide. That's the only thing I want to change. So because I'm changing multiply to divide, I still want to divide it by what I had. I had a negative 4, so I'm dividing it by a negative 4. What it does is it works out its signs on its own, so you are left with a positive x, which is what we want. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that's what we have here. Now, because I divided this side by negative 4, I need to come over here and divide this side by a negative 4. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So x is equal to a negative 9. You can come back up here and plug it in. I know most of you guys are just gonna type it in and hit check and see if it's right. That's fine too. But these are how you're gonna do the next 5.